Maybe you think you're in Malmo. You're not in Malmo, my friend. Okay?
You maybe think you're in Israel.
Give me that. I'm in Israel.
You are in Palestine.
My friend.
She'll be coming through loud and clear, people. All things going well. Thirsty Thursday is upon us yet again. Welcome to the Brews at 10 on my left eye. I'm your host, Lefty. And you're all very welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining me. Emma Richardson first in the charts and in the lead on this new community thing that live streams have got now. Getting in early with the XP. Great to see you, Emma. There's a poll, so one of the topics I'll be getting onto a bit later is whether Corbyn will form or co-form some sort of new left-wing party next year, by next year, that is. So who would you vote for in the next election, be it a local or a general? The next locals will be in 2026. So with that being the case, would you go for, and obviously I've tried to pick the likely socialist selections. You only get to put 4 choices in the poll, so it's the Green Party, whoever leads it. There's obviously the leadership contest at the moment. Green Party, but only if Zach Polanski wins the leadership race. The aforementioned new Corbyn-led Left Party, or a socialist independence or grassroots party. Thanks for your votes. I'll leave that open until the very end of the stream. Emma's number 1. In with a bang. A few other topics tonight as well. This is big news, whether you like it or not. This incident with the embassy staff, 2 people who were a couple, being murdered. Apparently by a Palestinian protester. And I do use the word apparently, which we'll get into later. but this is pretty big news. I'm quite shocked by it. And I guess a little worried for a few reasons I'll get into. But it's not all doom scrolling, of course. There'll be a few light-hearted moments on the way, hopefully, during the stream as well. So yeah, that's coming up. Also going to talk a little bit about Gary Lineker as well. That ties in with Palestine. And also the opening comedy clip that I'll have coming up shortly as well. That is him leaving the BBC now. Not really going to go over his professional sports career. Quite a few other stories, not quite a selection, a bit of a smorgasbord for you. So I will be talking about this potential new party led by Corbyn, as I mentioned. Something that happened yesterday as well. This obviously comes in the realm of Gaza and Palestine. A member of the group Kneecap has been charged with a terror offence for waving a flag. And just pertaining to the poll as well, got a little bit from the latest on the Green Party leadership contest as well. Plus more. Many courses to come. This politics and society smorgasbord meal. It's not quite a fondue party. That's on Sundays. And we don't host them, we gatecrash them at Keir Starmer's house. One of his houses. And we've got Odin Allfather in the chat, great to see, and Leroy Z also hitting up some XP there on this new community feature. That's interesting as well, Leroy. I was hoping to hear from people who'd recently joined the Greens. That's why I left two separate choices in the poll for that. So you've been a member for a few weeks and you're voting for Zach Polanski. He's got friendly ties to the Green Left, eco-socialist wing of the Green Party. That's where you personally reside, yeah. Thanks for pointing that out. I'll get into that in a bit more depth during the stream as well. Thanks for your feedback. Chris, great to see you as well. Good point there as well. I assume that you're referring to this Kneecap story. They've been in the news recently, they've been obviously very outspoken about Gaza as an issue. The mainstream press would call it somewhat controversial statements and so on and so forth. Yeah. It's not hate speech, you know, they are performance artists It doesn't matter whether you're into the genre of music that they play or not. It doesn't matter, I guess, in a way, whether you agree with their politics or not. In performance art, that covers many areas of expression. Although these are personal sentiments that they're sharing, of course, it isn't purely for artistic reasons. But they are artists at the end of the day. Yeah. So hands off free speech as well as art, I guess. More about that to come as well. I'm sure you've all hit the buttons by now, people, haven't you, and given us a share around your social media. Please do, as we just get warmed up. One of the comedy clips, it's not the opening one, that'll be a YouTuber who you'll be familiar with. But later on, I found a great new impersonator, actually, someone I've not come across, well, new to me, that is, someone I've not come across before. Who does a really great impersonation, so I'd be happy to share that with you. It's off to a close start in the poll. Thanks for your votes. Okay. All buttons having been hit. I just want to say thank you very much to all the members on the channel. Got a few formalities to get through before we start the stream, and as always the members get a thank you and a shout out. Thank you for helping to sustain the channel. For what's been about a year and a half now, in fact. I couldn't believe this, but earlier today I was reminded on my Facebook, that's my personal Facebook, I don't use it a lot, I don't have one for my left eye either, we don't have a Facebook, but I was reminded that it was a year ago today that the election was announced. Yeah, that's really flown actually. But in many ways it seems like they've been here for far too long. That is Labour under Starmer. Let's bring you good people into the equation. Okay, that should be nice and refreshed and running in real time now. Marvellous. Evening, Mo. Hope you're well. Great to see you as always. Yeah, a few people have mentioned they've not been getting notifications. That's another anomaly that's crept up. I think I scheduled it around 90 minutes, between an hour and 90 minutes. before I came on air, as it were. But thanks for the feedback. Yeah, Leroy, it really has flown a year since the election was announced, which means it's very nearly a year of Starmer's government. And we've got a doctor in the house as well. Great to see you, Doc Davies. So some of you are getting the notifications, some of you aren't. It's like a few other things that have been missing or redacted, whatever you want to call it. Comments on videos. I do go through the ones that it asked me to approve quite regularly, actually, and they're not there, so unfortunately that's out of my hands. Also, good point, yeah, Doc Davies, these new YouTube features are coming in all the time. You can select whether you want notifications for all content or just some. In fact, did I mention this yesterday? If not, I'll just bring it up quickly. No, I don't think I mentioned it on yesterday's stream. It might be important for you viewers, I don't know if you've been made aware, but the subscribe button itself is also turning into a few different things. It's also going to facilitate the join button if you want to become one of the marvellous members on the excuse me, on the channel. So as this comes out, as like a lot of YouTube features, it'll depend on what device you're using, what country that you're watching in, etc., as to when the feature comes in, or if it does or doesn't come in. Sometimes it gets really convoluted, believe me, and anyone who's watching who is a fellow content provider will be more than aware of that. So just to let you know, if you can't see the join button if you want to join the channel, then it might be hidden inside of the subscribe button. I'm not sure if when the button itself launches you'll have to, I'm hoping it doesn't mean that you'll have to resubscribe to any channels that you are already, because that'd be a nightmare. I'm pretty sure it won't. I've not noticed, obviously I watch YouTube as well as provide content for it, so I haven't actually noticed the combination button, whatever it's going to be called, just yet. But I'm normally watching on desktop, to be honest, instead of mobile, or, well, I do sometimes watch on tablet occasionally. So I think that's all the updates out of the way. Hey, luckily though, he says, jinxing himself again probably, at least the gifted memberships have been working smoothly for a while. Hey people. No, genuinely thank you very much for all of you gifted memberships recently. That's brought us up to 96, got to 96 yesterday. Just sort of dipped a little bit underneath the 100 target, but yeah, that might fluctuate for a while before we get some clear daylight past the 100. We'll see. Mobius is on the pancakes, and don't sound too stunned, people. You might be surprised to hear that, you know, unless you're a vegan, well, I guess you still can, but you can eat pancakes any day that you like. No, you don't need someone waving a finger at you from the Bronze Age to tell you when you do and don't eat pancakes. I know I'm here thinking, I think I have had a, yeah, I must have, I think I've had like a veggie, or a vegan, I mean, pancake at some point. But enjoy. Yes, Emma, only 4 long years to go. Only 4 years. 4 years. That was a very pertinent time for the background music loop to stop, wasn't it? Oh, right. It almost got thoroughly depressing there for a moment, so I think we'll launch into a comedy clip of, I'm sure we're all gathered nicely, and I've been yabbering away for far too long, so let's get into some content, people. A first time appearance later on, but first of all, someone regular viewers will be very familiar with by now. It's old but gold, and it relates to recent news stories as well. Specifically, the aforementioned Gary Lineker, former host of Match of the Day, and it appears that he's sort of pushed before he has actually officially quit, but there was this so-called controversy over posts on social media. Again, yes, he's stood up for migrants before, which is what this comedy clip from 2 years ago refers to, but also for Gazans, and he took down a post and made what was probably somewhat of a forced apology, because it had an emoji of a rat on it, and yeah, they tried to milk that as some sort of ASBF. Hey Jacqueline, nice to see you're wide awake. Hope you're well caffeinated tonight. Great to see you. Yes, where was I on the Lineker thing? Well, I'll get into more of that after the comedy clip. So it's Exploding Heads, which is the Colin from Portsmouth one, as some people know it. Good stuff, yeah, and then we'll get more into this Lineker thing.
Colin is in Portsmouth. Hello, Colin.
You know who the real villain is in all this?
It's Gary Lineker, isn't it?
Gary bloody Lineker. He
Yeah.
thinks they're fascists. He's treated poor Suella like a common crook. This is the 40th attempt by the Conservatives to stop people coming into this country, and they've really got it right this time.
This is the bill to criminalise people coming in via small boats, isn't it,
People
Colin?
persecuted by war, fleeing terror, they'll think twice about fleeing that terror if they realise they might get a criminal record here, and maybe even a fixed penalty notice.
Well, there's a large possibility that it will break international law, Colin.
How can we break international law when we're the most moral country on the planet?
Yeah.
And if we have to break the law, then it's worth it to make a law which says that those refugees are breaking the law. We'll come down hard on them. Tough on those who break the law.
Apart from on ourselves.
Well, then we'll arrest ourselves to set an example, won't we?
Yeah.
Suella and Jonathan Gullis could deport themselves to Rwanda, showing that that's not such a bad place to live. Asylum seekers will flock there instead, and it'll solve the crisis overnight. Anyway, mate, thanks for having me on. Love to the family.
Love to the family, Colin. Love to the family.
Suella, let's ban the Oxford-Cambridge small boat race.
Oh, now there's a policy I can agree with.
Very good. Old but gold from around 2 years ago. That one from the Exploding Heads. Check them out if you've not seen them before. I suspect you all probably have, though. So yeah, Lineker, as I said now, former Match of the Day presenter, and of course, former England striker. Prolific career that he had for England. That was way back in the 1980s and 90s, early 90s, I believe. So yeah, there's obviously, you know, I'm not going to get into arguments about his salary. I know that that comes up a lot as well. I think that, you know, it's not as though he's the only public figure with an opinion. The fact that he happens to be a presenter doesn't mean, I believe, doesn't mean that he shouldn't be allowed to tweet his political thoughts, whatever they may be. And he's got to answer for those. It's obviously very clear that they're his views and not, in this case, the BBC's views, and so, or whoever it might be. You know, I think it's just ridiculous how overblown it's come, and I think he'll actually, in a way, be glad to be rid of it. Sorry, the background music's quite loud there. I don't want to raise my voice too much, so there we go. Yeah, what do you think about this Lineker thing? I mean, I'm not going to mull over it for too long here on the stream. It's just that now he isn't doing anything for the BBC at all. He was going to continue doing, you know, things like the World Cup and the European Cup, and he's done other sporting events occasionally, though not as well as he does football punditry, as you'd call it. So he's out. He's completely out. I did hear this earlier. Excuse me if I get the year wrong, but I think he was the host since 1993. It was quite a long time. Very long time. Oh, he did the crisps. Does the crisps adverts? I don't know. Does he still do them? But might have got the years mixed up with when he started doing the crisps and when he became Match of the Day host. I don't know which one was first. Heard quite a few stats, quite a bit of information blowout. Chris, yeah, he's probably going to be getting quite a lot of offers now, including from Rupert Murdoch's Sky. Well, there's a lot of big players there internationally and domestically as well. Of course, you've got the likes of ESPN as well. Others, I don't know. We'll have to see. They did. This was on the radio, by the way. Sorry, something that I heard. Just a short clip that was being shared around. And I can't remember if he said he has got any plans, or if he's going. I think he actually said he's going to just take a little break from things for a bit, but we'll see. Yeah, and if you're not from the UK, it's impossible to overstate how much he's almost pretty much a national treasure, more or less. Sporting legend in this country. He was record goal scorer. else was there? Well, famously, he went through his whole career without being shown a yellow card. But now the BBC have shown him the red card. Hey? Right, let's get into a few other topics now. That's all I'll say about that. Guess we'll go straight into this embassy staff shooting. Which isn't good, whichever way you slice it. I'm going to boil it down to two likely outcomes. Andy Carter, good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. Just a reminder, if you're arriving, please vote in the poll. Just about to get into the next topic. And it's still a developing story at the moment, but the couple was shot, they were both killed. The perpetrator shouted, "Free Palestine," and for, you know, a lot of the times in these circumstances would probably be surrounded by armed police, you know, and is probably lucky to be alive if not severely injured. And he's now been charged. The suspect, Elias Rodriguez, has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. The victims are Sarah Lynn Milgram, you can see on the right there. Sorry, those are witnesses, those aren't. These are 2 witnesses who actually helped Rodriguez before they realised that he was the suspect or the perpetrator. Just to be clear, so it's Sarah Lynn Milgram and Yuron Lishinsky were leaving an event at the Capital Jewish Museum when they were both shot dead by the 30-year-old from Chicago. You can see though one of the bullet points on the left as well. This is something I'm just about to get into in more detail. Whichever way you slice it, like I said, this is particularly bad. Trump has immediately come out and said that these murders were based on, he says, obviously anti-Semitism, and says, the mayor says this crime will not be tolerated in our city. I know that Antonio Guterres has also condemned the attacks. The Director General of the United Nations. But here's a recap of what officials in Washington have said. Just very quickly, the interim US Attorney for the District of Washington, Jeanine Pirro, said the shooting was being investigated as an act of terrorism and that more charges may be added. She also said it was far too early to say if they would seek the death penalty, but that it was a death penalty eligible case. that is in the state of Washington. Steve Jensen from the FBI said the suspect was not known to the Bureau, but investigators are looking at his social media accounts and contacting his known associates. They believe he travelled there for a work conference one day before the attack. Pamela A. Smith said there would be an increased presence of law enforcement in the area. Well, obviously you'd take that last one as a given. So that's the long and short of it. Just a couple of details I want to get into. Just scrolling through here to see if there's anything else quickly worth pointing out. Okay. Now, if this is what has happened, as has been described, then this is a lose-lose. Unfortunately, it's very bad news, this, people. If it's happened as described, then this guy, Rodriguez, has opened the door for all kinds of Israeli propaganda now. It's obviously wrong, it's incorrect to support the plight of Gazans in that way and the plight of Palestinians in that way. If that is the case, and it's probably done a lot more damage than it has good now, because we all know how bad Israeli propaganda is in normal circumstances, but now that this has happened, wow, they're really gonna they're gonna go full overkill. They really are. David Mensa's going to be foaming at the mouth about this during interviews. They're going to try and use this as an absolute, well, you're going to have to excuse the pun, but a silver bullet, you know, for anybody who denies, rightly denies that support of Palestine is in some way anti-Semitic. It's clear that Donald Trump is going to be backing them up. Need to just interrupt quickly to give a couple of shout outs to Andy Carter, celebrating 11 months of membership, and also for 5 gifted memberships as well. Solidari-Tea, Andy, thank you very much for that. Long-term member and long-term supporter of the channel. Thanks as always. I will change the membership goal now, so that takes us back over the 100. Thank you very much. 101. Marvellous. Thanks again, Andy. Not wood. Everybody will renew, will stay over the 100. Back to this though. I have to get it off my chest while it's in my head, and it might be somewhat controversial what I might be about to say, but it's what I think. These are my thoughts. This is you know, what I'm supposed to be sharing with you on the streams. So yeah, Tzipi Hotovelli, David Mensa, Flo, what's her face, who was on the radio the other day, are going to milk this for all it's worth. That is, as I said, if this Rodriguez fella is a genuine supporter of Palestine. We can't rush to judgment. We can't come to... I know that the media want the answers immediately, they'll try and report things before, you know, you've got all of the facts, before you've had a time to step back, see things in context. And so on. However, would you really, well, I guess, what would the chances be percentage-wise of you putting it past Israel to perhaps stage, and I'm not implying that I have seen any evidence of this whatsoever, I should point this out, but it's either one of two scenarios. It's either this Rodriguez fella is, you know, apparently a supporter of Palestine, but is completely and utterly fucked up beyond recognition. And handed an open goal to the Israelis and their propaganda, or it could be an attempt to drum up sympathy. Or support by, you know, nefarious means. And it wouldn't be the first time that Israel, you know, had done such nefarious activity, should we say. And I'm not just talking about the bloody Eurovision Song Contest. So it's either one or the other. For me, I don't think there's any centre ground there. I think it must be pretty binary. But what he has done is reckless. Obviously we do want to reach peace and a free Palestine, but this has to be done certainly in a legal sense, in a political sense. Otherwise it would lead to double standards. Whatever you think about them, whatever you think about Zionists, I don't think it'll be too long before people might start to drum up comparisons between this and Mangione. But I don't think it's the same sort of thing. It's certainly not the same sort of thing. Especially in terms of what the aftermath of this is going to be. I don't say potentially or likely. You know 100% goddamn well that Israel are going to milk this now. They're going to milk it as dry as the Sahara, you know. Sneaky Fish, thanks for joining us. Yeah, that's more or less where I'm at. I'm not creating any tin hat theories, I'm not sharing any tin hat theories with that. I'm just pointing out that when these sort of things happen, it's usually one or the other. As I said, no evidence for it. I'll have to wait and see. Just, you know, very quickly, loosely while I'm on the same subject, saw some very interesting close-up pictures of Donald Trump's ear again recently. One meme, it was a meme, it was a meme, said, that ear never got shot off. This man is a liar. I'm paraphrasing perhaps. This man is a liar. But don't forget, 2 people died over that supposed assassination attempt on Trump. But 2 people have died in this case. I think I found out just before I came onto the stream as well, tragically. They were expecting a baby as well. So that's Sarah Lynn Milgram and Yaron Lashinsky. It mostly seems all the Beeb want to speculate about is whether or not they're likely to receive the death penalty at the moment, but this guy, Rodriguez, at the moment, I think that's for the birds. Is this legit or not? And how do we work around what Israel propaganda's response to this is going to be? I guess we just carry on as we always have been, speaking the truth. Now, this doesn't excuse anything that Israel's doing in Gaza or in the West Bank. Absolutely not. But that's not what you're going to be hearing. But do keep telling the truth, do keep sharing the truth, and whatever we do, we've got to do it peacefully, you know. And just back to the Trump thing, yeah, good point, Jacqueline. You don't hear him harping on much about that now. He wants you to forget, and we're talking about the other thing now. And then it was just a few weeks later, there was another plot that was sort of nipped in the bud pretty early on as well, wasn't there? It was a fella, he was hiding in some shrubs or bushes. Was it close to where he plays golf, or one of the places he plays golf very badly from what we're told? Do you think he wouldn't shut up about things like that? So that's why I'm worried now. Yes, either way, a lot of crap to deal with, or it obviously means it's further proof that we're living in a twisted world where they'll try and bend reality and fabricate these kind of incidents. Again, reminding you, I'm not saying that I've got evidence, but neither of which makes you feel particularly good about the world in which we live, does it? And on that jolly note, people, yeah, please do make sure that you've hit the thumbs up button on the stream. I guess this counts as something slightly more positive that we can get on to now, but there has been some aid that has gotten actually into Gaza properly today, not just waiting at the gates. It's been met by aid workers who've started to distribute it, albeit still very, very low amounts, nowhere near what's required. So 90 lorry loads are confirmed to have gone through. Thank you very much for throwing up the Palestine flags in the chat as well. So, 2 million people. It's something in the area of 600 trucks per day that would be required to just about meet the minimum requirements of what Gazans need today. Not 1/6 of that has gotten through. Yesterday it was 5 trucks. So it's still not nearly enough. Let's see what's happening here, people. So the aid included flour, baby food and medical equipment. Let's not forget there are almost 15,000 children on the brink of starvation, as well as sorry people, the numbers get to me. The numbers get to me sometimes. Just give me a sec. So in the last 11 weeks, it's something in the area of, I think 700 pregnant women have died from malnutrition, from starvation and malnutrition. So that just goes to show how essential this is. The aid was picked up from the Kerem Shalom crossing on Wednesday night and taken to the warehouses for distribution. Several bakeries began producing bread with the flour on Thursday. The UN have also said it's nowhere near enough to meet the vast needs in Gaza. A United Nations World Food Programme official said the UN and its partners had over 140,000 tonnes of food, so that's about 6,000 lorry loads, about 10 days worth in that case, and enough to feed the entire population for 2 months, in position at aid corridors and ready to be brought into Gaza at scale. So it's there, and it's just, I think this is definitely one of the most depraved things about what Israel are doing. They don't play nice, they don't play fair, they don't play legal. They don't do that. They just don't. It goes against the sort of bottom line of their remit. I don't want to say principles because they're obviously devoid of principles. So they've already admitted that they use this starvation as a method of warfare. But like with everything else, they think they can just point and go, oh, but Hamas is a thing, so we get to commit this atrocity, that atrocity, day in, day out. And in this instance, they've said the starvation was meant to put pressure on Hamas to release the hostages, 23 of whom are still believed to be alive. Netanyahu's also lashed out at France, Canada and the UK, but obviously made statements recently condemning these actions. At market prices right now, each truck full of flour is worth $400,000. That's just under £300,000 sterling. just some of the examples of the makeshift bakeries that have just been set up. But yeah, in the meantime as well, hundreds of people have been killed while this blockade's been going on. Since dawn today, 52 were killed according to the Civil Defence Agency. The Palestinian media reported that they included 16 people, most of them members of one extended family who died when a home was hit in Jabalia in North Gaza. According to the UN, 81% of Gaza is now either subject to Israeli evacuation orders or located in militarised no-go zones. As well as declaring openly that they used starvation as a weapon, they've also openly declared that they want to seize the entirety of Gaza recently as well. And of course, as they do with every article, the BBC try to, air quotes, remind people that this all began on October the 7th, 2023, when, of course, we all know it did not. And I'm actually just going to play that opening clip again. Did you see that? Let's finish with something a bit more positive. That really was an absolute mic drop moment there. I don't know who the original uploader was, but let's have a quick look at that again. This is a guy who's been stopped on the street by Israeli police, and his comeback is just absolute, you know, wow. Yeah, it's a sick burn.
Maybe you think you are in Malmo. You are not in Malmo, my friend. Okay?
You maybe think you're in Israel.
Give me that.
I'm in Israel.
You are in
You are in
Palestine.
Palestine.
My friend.
Oh, yes you are. Yes you are in Palestine. Don't know what happened after that. It cuts out. I've seen as much as you have now, so don't know what became of the fella. But well done. A couple more bits and pieces just while we're still on the subject of Gaza. This was reposted or shared by someone who I follow earlier. And of course it's not just Palestine who are subject to attack by Israel, it's also countries such as Lebanon, Iraq, Gaza, the list goes on. But Iran themselves have responded on social media. First of all, I wasn't aware that apparently Iran military has its own social media, has its own Twitter page. This does look, I know it's anyone can buy a blue tick these days, but it does look official to the extent that they've got almost 500,000 followers on Twitter. So they're responding to a CNN report that new intelligence suggests that Israel's going to be striking Iranian nuclear facilities. And they've come back with some pretty strong words, and it's a good response. But this could be the trigger for the escalation that's been coming for a while. Let's not forget that they all feel as though, I mean, Israel and Iran both feel as though they owe the other one, if you know what I mean. They've both got big plans for attacks at the moment. So they've said any attack on our nuclear facilities will result in a swift de-Zionization of Palestine. You can see this. It does look official. Like I said, I'll show you there. They've got, is it 488,000 followers on Twitter, and they only follow 5 people. Let's see who who Iran military follow on Twitter. That'll be interesting. So a bit of a nosy here. Sorry, that's yeah. Saeed Ali Khamenei. The official account there. Interesting. Right. We have to move on. For the sake of brevity. Just get through a few comments as well. Yeah, of course, any suggestion, whoever it's coming from, whether it's Trump or Netanyahu, that they should, that is the Palestinians, Gazans, should vacate en masse and, air quotes, temporarily go and live in other countries is preposterous. Can you imagine how people like Colin from Portsmouth would feel if we were told that we had to do that in the United Kingdom? No. And I'm sure that Palestinians feel just the same way about their country as well. So it's Israel who need to get the fuck out of there. It's not a real country anyway, is it? Catch you soon, Jacqueline, if you're still listening. Hope you enjoyed the stream. You can catch up with the rest later, but thanks for joining us. So Kneecap have been charged with a terror offence. Let's see what's happening here, people. Just one member, that is. So he performs under the name Mo Chara, and he's due to appear at Westminster Magistrates Court next month. Oh, I've waited outside there a few times in my time, I should say. Nearly got arrested there once as well, actually. That's another story. Protest, that is. And court support. So, back to Kneecap. Liam Ocho Hanahade, is that? I hope I'm sorry. If I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Who's 27? He's been charged after an incident. It's 21st of November last year. That is. Music, please. Thank you. So it's during a gig in Kentish Town, and he held up a flag. He's been charged for holding up a flag. He's called it political policing. He says it's a carnival of distraction. Reminds us that over 14,000 babies are about to die of starvation in Gaza. I saw footage of the most recent protest, the big 500,000 one, 600,000 actually, in London. Last Saturday, a fella was arrested for having a sign that said that Hamas should be deprescribed. I've not mentioned so far as well, I don't know if you've heard this one. I need to get a few more details, but I can tell you that the co-founder of Ben & Jerry's was arrested at a protest. They started to boycott and divest away from Israel. They don't sell their ice cream in Israel anymore, and have been very outspoken as well. There's a couple of other similar incidents. So there they are. The trio. They formed in 2017, just a few details about the group. They're an Irish-speaking rap trio, and they've courted controversy with their provocative lyrics and merchandise. Sharon Osbourne, Ozzy Osbourne's wife, and former X Factor judge, has called for kneecaps US work visas to be revoked. Maybe you should listen to some of your husband's, or read some of your husband's lyrics, or listen to them in a bit closer detail, Sharon. Kemi Badenoch's thrown a 2 cents in as well, but who really cares? Yeah, so there you have it. Just holding up a flag. It's not like it had, you know, another certain symbol on it or anything. But I guess you'd probably get away with that, wouldn't you, in this day and age? I don't know what the bloody world's coming to. Keep me posted on that one, people. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you're watching back later, as well as in the live chat. Sneaky Fish, do I think that Starmer will say yay or nay to Jez's bill for an independent inquiry into arms sales? It seems likely. He's stuck between two incriminating choices. I'd say he's more likely to say no, because, well, if he's going to incriminate himself, he may as well spike Corbyn as well. That'd be the way he'd see it. Yeah, so I think that we're almost 100% complicit, of course. But also, if he attempted to impede any investigation, that would also be illegal. It's what a lot of people are referring to as a Chilcot style inquiry that Jeremy Corbyn's calling for as well. That was over the illegal invasion of Iraq. The thing is with these though, they seldom lead to anything concrete. You usually find that somebody takes the fall for it, or a bunch of civil servants get sacked or things like this, in cases where a high profile politician is accused of something very, very serious. whatever scandal it might be, and there have been so many throughout the history of politics. But this is international war crimes that we're talking about, people, and you won't be able to appease the International Court of Justice by sacking some civil servants or getting your deputy director of XYZ to make a resignation statement. No, absolutely not. Is the whole house of cards beginning to fall? Are the walls closing in? Is it getting to the crunch? Are the crows coming? Are the cockerels coming home to roost? I hope so. I hope so. If there is any real justice in the world, which is something that we fight and call for every day. I agree with your point there, Andy, as well. It is really wet, you know, over flags. Especially over saying that a country has a right to withhold essential goods and services to an entire population. They're still using that one, the mainstream media. They're still using that one, politicians. They're still using that one, and it is just completely ineffective as a barrier now. When Flo What's-Her-Face was still bringing up 2023 propaganda, it's just as bad as that. You know, all these big broadcasters can't even wake up and realise it's a very clear law that illegal occupiers don't have any rights whatsoever. And that's not to say that we don't condone Hamas for taking civilian hostages, yada yada. We do, but obviously we're talking about proportionality here. We're talking about legality. And if the warrants that have issued come to pass, then we will see Hamas having to answer for that, as well as Israel having to answer for a whole lot more, because the rap sheet goes on and on. If this does get to an international court, it would take days and days and days, going into weeks, I'd imagine, for the prosecution to describe, illustrate, provide evidence for everything that they've done. Even if we do get to that point, we're still potentially going to have to wait years before judgment, and should it be guilty, whatever sentences there might be. Real justice could be, you know, some years down the road, people, but we've all got to be prepared to stick together in solidarity and fight for as long as it takes while we can. We in the, you know, West, we're here describing how the authorities are taking action against people for holding up flags. Obviously that shouldn't be happening, but people in other countries have it a lot worse. You know, your man from Kneecap is being charged and he's going to go through due process or whatever. He's not being dragged away and meeting a very unpleasant end. You know, we have to put it into context what we have compared to the plight of others, and if we can fight for others who don't have the same rights as we have, then we should fight for them as well as keeping the fight for ourselves. That's what I think, because we're all one people. yes, Solidarity with kneecap. Solidarity with the Irish as well. The Irish population have been fantastic in showing support for Palestine. They can obviously empathise and sympathise with the plight, having been subjected to the British Empire for hundreds of years themselves. Struggle that was going on, as you know, civil war as well as oppression for a long time, and that only ended, you know, a few decades ago. In fact, barely. That what was Good Friday was 98, was it? I'm not going to hold the stream up. Yeah. I've made my point. Well done to the Irish. Solidarity. Legally speaking, you can't endorse waving that flag, but I can say you should be allowed to. And not even being taken to a Salvadorian gulag, yeah. But yeah, that was particularly... I was going to say gulag, actually. I think we're seeing things the same way there, definitely. That reminded me of... you guys know well, he was an American comedian, Bill Hicks, and talked a lot about politics while he was alive. American comedian. Talked about JFK assassination and other 90s politics as well. And I think he was referring to one thing that was in the news. It might not have been in the news, but he's talking about burning the American flag. And you get your sort of so-called patriots who obviously speak out against that. But his point was, oh, that was the thing. the joke, the bit was, a guy comes up to him and says, "My daddy died for that flag," and then says, "Oh well, I got mine at Walmart. You know, it was $4.99 or whatever." But yeah, the whole point was that freedom is the right to burn the flag. Yes. I don't know if you're familiar with that sketch or his stand-up work. My daddy died for that flag. Why don't you just buy them? They sell them. It's just down the road. It's like, you know. Okay, people, let's move on. It's just about all the updates that I have at the moment from Gaza. A couple of other bits to talk about. Where should we go to next? Let's play a clip. Yeah, going to get on to the some domestic matters, the Green Party leadership race. I'll kick off with just a brief clip of a section of one of Zach Polanski's speeches at a recent rally.
We all know the threat is not coming by small boats. It is flying above our head by private jets. And if this Labour government will not call that out, they are responsible for the consequences. So what do we demand? We demand a politics of not just environmental justice, but social, racial, economic justice too. These things cannot be divided. It is a politics that stands with LGBT people. When they come for one of us, they come for all of us, and we will not be divided. It is a politics that says books, not bombs. It is a politics that is anti-war, that is pro-peace and pro-diplomacy. It is a politics that recognizes neoliberalism and the corporate class have utterly failed this community. And we need a class politics that stands in solidarity with the working class, is co-designed by the working class, and is led by the working class.
Very bold stuff there. It really just get fired up when he gets going, I think. On that note, I'll just give the latest on the poll. So 42% of you intend on voting for the Greens, whoever leads. 25% the Green Party, as long as it's the man on your screen, Zach Polanski. 33% for a Corbyn-led Left Party. No votes yet, though, for Socialist, Independent or Grassroots. Thanks for your votes so far. We'll see who's the winner at the end. So, how's he doing? How's he looking in the polls? Gonna take a look now. So it's a 3-horse, 2-horse race. Yeah, 3 people, but obviously only 2 ways that members can vote. I just want to point out I'm not a Green Party member, so I won't actually be voting in this ballot myself. We've already heard from a recently joined member of the Green Party in the chat, intending to vote for Zach, and he was just marginally in the lead the last time I looked at the polling, but he's now gone a bit further ahead, so this is on a sliding scale based on endorsements. So Zach's on 143 and Adrian Ramsey and Ellie Chowns are on 128. What do you people think about the dual leadership scenario? Because the thing could be, you could be completely in favour of one of them for some reason, but not the other for other reasons. Zach Polanski just has to worry what people think about Zach Polanski. So I think he kind of has an advantage there. I mean, they do it more in America, you know, where they have the running mates and so on and so forth. There's a lot more emphasis on the second in line, the deputy, as it would be, you know, over here. But Zach is actually the deputy leader himself. Just seeing as well in the chat, he's got over 600 endorsements from Green Party members. I'd be interested to see the stats about how far the membership has grown since the leadership election was announced. Definitely. You'd have to say there that the bigger the increase, the more likely it is that people are going to vote for Zach, I guess. because it's been said now, or the feeling is that people like Ramsey, unfortunately, even though his politics and his policies are sound, it's the apparent so-called briefcasey vibe. You saw from Zach Polanski's clip there, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with him anyway, that he's a lot more vibrant. He's putting a lot more personality out there, a lot more enthusiasm. He seems to have the sort of image of being, you know, more in touch with people. He mentions the working class a lot. I know that Adrian Ramsey and Ellie Chownes do as well, but again, two kind of cut and paste briefcasey politicians, slightly, you know, wooden, not as robotic as Starmer or Reeves in the delivery, of course, but still just a sort of over-familiar politician. That's what the word on the street is. Now, here's the thing with this as well. I forgot to mention this earlier. I'll be coming on to Corbyn's new party, but one of the things I'm going to be talking about is the potential for splitting votes. I really do hope that this doesn't dilute the pool too much, as it were, in some areas. But also, obviously, Carla Denyer has stepped down, but do you think that this could potentially be a distraction? You know, the leadership race could be somewhat of a distraction. Let me know in the comments. I do know there are some who feel that Carla Denyer obviously got them as far as they could go, and the feeling is that perhaps Polanski or Adrian Ramsey and Ellie Chownes could take it further, but I'll keep you up to speed with what's happening there, people. Let's leave that there for now and get on to this new party, potentially. People have been calling for this for a very long time now. It started with a few whispers in the wind and rumours and all that stuff. But now, according to this article from The Canary, who are a really good source of news, I'd definitely recommend you checking them out. Corbyn himself has suggested a new party will be in place before the 2026 elections. They'd be local, of course. But that also means they would be set in place before the next general election, which still won't be for 3 years after that. Clear through these pop-ups. So what he's said is this whole cause is coming together so that by next year's local elections, long before that, I hope, we're going to have something in place that is very clear and everyone will want to be a part of and support. He's previously spoken about how he's been supporting efforts to build the resistance via community empowerment. His most recent comments came at an event in Huddersfield in West Yorkshire. The host, the People's Alliance for Change and Equality, that's PACE, plans to connect campaigners, trade unionists and politicians across the metropolitan borough of Kirklees and oppose war cuts and racism. There are similar things going on with people's assemblies. Now, some of you might be familiar with other offshoots of Just Stop Oil. Obviously, we've spoken about youth demand a lot, but also Assemble is one of them, which is all about creating and hosting people's assemblies, a sort of bottom-up approach to politics, as it were. It's something that I've been involved with myself, something I'm quite enthusiastic about. To be honest, the theory behind it is very sound. It's just getting people to realise how much power they've actually got, and a completely political revolution, that would be far more representative, far more democratic, and all kinds of things. And we do need a people's house, They call it the House of Commons, but it's full of people who are in the top 5% of wealth in our society. Does that sound common to you? 1 in 20. A ratio of 19:1. Nah. Doesn't sound very common to me. Yes, so Jeremy also said, I hear the call for a new political party. I fully understand that, and that political party needs to be well informed and effective, one that gives out a central message of peace, of justice, of equality, of diversity within our society. So they point out he's clearly pointing in the right direction, with Labour widely discredited as a party of austerity, and with the danger of Nigel Farage and reforms rise, it's clearer than ever that a left-wing political alternative is needed, one which can say that it's not migrants or trans people selling off our NHS and cutting disability benefits, it's the super rich, and we need to launch this alternative now. So yeah, there have also been rumours of some form of collaboration should Polanski succeed in winning the Green leadership race. How do I sum this up? What I would like to see is for there to be a socialist candidate, obviously, on every ballot paper, in every ward, in every borough, in the locals and in every constituency when we get to the general election, but just one, so that it's very clear that anyone who shares socialist values is going to put their vote in one place. I wouldn't like to see this filtering down, watering down the left vote. Because the next chance we have is a biggie. The next chance that we have to vote nationally, I'm talking about the general election, is going to be huge. Is going to be huge, and it could almost be, make or break for the left in terms of dragging us away from increasingly far-right politics, as is happening now. But that can only happen if we come together, if we work together, if politicians on the left, on the genuine left, obviously it goes without saying that Labour are completely not included in that conversation while Keir Starmer's leader. But yeah, all come together to fight Starmer, to fight Farage, to fight the Tories, to fight the Liberal bloody Democrats. Just a last little bit from the article. So from Newcastle to Southport and Enfield to Kirklees, people are uniting to build movements in their communities that will feed into a national party that can take on Labour reform and Tory wings of the establishment, assemblies are popping up across the country to put local people at the heart of resistance, and trade unions are also ready to step in and play a role. I do strongly recommend that you check out Assemble. You're more than welcome to set up your own assembly if you like, in your own community. Lots of ways that you can go about doing this. I strongly recommend you look into Assemble. Other organisations are now starting to organise citizens' assemblies, people's assemblies, including Extinction Rebellion as well, that I'm aware of. And I'm just going to zoom in a bit on the article, so Nigel Farage is off the screen. As I just get towards the end of it anyway. What else did I want to say about citizens' assemblies, people's assemblies? It was something in the paragraph I was going to point out here. Yes, so like I said, your community gets together, whatever sort of ideas they have. You might have a specific demand or a policy that you're going to focus on, whether it's at a local or a national level, will feed up to a more national level. And also another very interesting thing about this, specifically within Assemble itself, the organisation, that offshoot of JSO that I mentioned. The idea is to select leaders by sortition. If you're not familiar with sortition, you essentially just you randomly select members of the adults, obviously grown-ups. And the next Prime Minister will be a 3-month-old. Oh no, sign here please. Oh no, they've just thrown up all over it. No, seriously though, they do it by sortition. That's how it would be done. It's been used historically, apparently. The Romans used to do that. The thinking behind it is that it will eradicate career politicians, you know, people who just get into it to help themselves out. I don't know if you can think of any off of the top of your head. You might struggle. But it would seek to eradicate that. It also would make it more representative, more proportional, more proportionately representative. Do you see what I'm getting at, people? Certainly favourable with the establishment obsessed, first past the post system that we're currently burdened with in the UK. So yeah, I rather firmly believe that any serious political change, political revolution, overhaul will begin with assemblies. I'll just leave it there. Yeah, that's a good paragraph, worth reading out. And then I'll move on. Keir Starmer seems utterly intent on destroying the Labour Party with his shameless corporate cronyism, and across the left there appears to be the will to unite around key policies, that is wages, climate, housing, wealth tax, public services and peace, in order to enter the space Labour has abandoned. There's also an awareness to the need to centre class in a conflict which billionaires are currently winning. The question isn't about whether a new mass party on the left is coming or whether Jeremy Corbyn will be involved. The question is now when and how can we get involved. So it looks like it's definitely coming. And the latest numbers on the poll are that 33% of you would intend on voting for said party. And also, please do get in there as well. Zara Sultana, you know, all of these former Labour MPs who now sit as independents, great socialists, I'd hope to see them involved as well. John McDonnell also. Could it tempt Diane Abbott away from the Labour Party? Or perhaps your Dawn Butlers or your Clive Lewises? Richard Bergen, possibly. Yeah, it's certainly an interesting and significant fact to know this. And I think tactically, it's quite a good move. Politically as well, because at the moment even hardened Starmerites will have to admit that this is a very rough patch for Starmer at the moment. They can argue the toss about who's to blame. We've heard them trying to blame still trying to blame Corbyn for what Keir Starmer's doing just a couple of days ago. But even the most hardened Starmerite has to definitely acknowledge that this would be a big factor now. They thought they'd gotten rid of him wholesale. Was it Margaret Hodge who said that she wanted to break Corbyn as a man? They thought that after what they did to him in 2017, in 2019, that he might just scuttle off and retire from politics. I guess they also imagined that he would within a short time lose his seat as well, but that didn't happen. So he's back. But not just in North Islington. People all around the country will potentially get another chance to vote for him. Rebecca Long Bailey, good point there, Doc, as well. Yeah, that's another one. Diane Abbott is holding the cards pretty close to her chest, yeah, Andy. She obviously was encouraged to step down and stand as an independent before the last election, but she definitely had a point to prove. There was this back and forth in the run-up as to whether she might be deselected, whether she'd stand down. It was a kind of, don't you dare deselect me, she's Diane Abbott, for God's sake. She's been in since 1983 was when she first got elected. So she did it basically out of principle, to say that she wouldn't be forced out. And that's why she chose to stand for Labour. I think she'll probably be an independent or in Corbyn's new party next time out. Let's hope. Yeah, and I hope that arms sale investigation does happen, actually, more. It's very early stages at the moment. Again, like with the formation of this party, the timing comes into things a lot, sometimes you only get one shot at things when it comes at these big prosecutions. You don't want to fuck things up because you'll only get one shot, so you need to make sure you've got everything that you need, and then the timing's got to be right and things. But there's an abundance of evidence, like I said. And you can only conclude that as a country we'd be found to be complicit. No two ways about it. Exhibit A. Just look through my previous content. I just want to finish on something a bit more positive. We heard today that to create more room in prisons, the government have announced many people will only be serving a third of the sentences. That's been going around, but something more positive when it comes to being released from custody. Something I've mentioned a few times on the channel. A friend of mine, and also a fellow JSO supporter who was imprisoned, has been released. So Larch is out. He was inside for over 8 months for occupying the tunnels dug under the road to the Navigator Oil Terminal. That was in 2022, in August. If you've seen my JSO series, you'll be familiar that I was not part of the tunnelling team, but I was part of that action as well myself. I got arrested there. Latch is a great guy as well. Yeah, great to see him out. He definitely looks happy. Breathe the free air, my friend. Solidarity. You always get a troll. This is, yeah, Twitter. What do you expect? Not going to go through the comments. It's mostly dumpster fire stuff. Another quick update as well, just on JSO. The Heathrow 9 have now all been released as well, so that's the latest update for those serving sentences. Brave people. There are still 6 JSO supporters in prison. Yeah, Dr. Larch, I should say, Dr. Larch, Maxi. Yeah, we spent a lot of time together on the streets of London and stuff as well. Lovely fella. He did in fact host the first ever, well, the first talk I went to shortly after the formation of JSO, so always got time for a free plug for great people like Larch. Now, I hereby announce, people, the poll will be closing shortly, so if you've not voted, anybody who's watching live, please do get your votes in before that shuts. Actually, yeah, I'm going to play the members scroll. Thank you very much again to all the members on the channel. Thanks again, Andy, for those gifted memberships today. Awesome stuff. Takes us back over the 100. Solidarity. Oh, it's late, people. it's late. But thank you very much to everybody who's supported and gifted recently. So stay put, even though I'm coming towards the end of the stream. I just do like to see if there's anywhere that we can raid into. And there is. The awesome Kevin Logan is still streaming, so we'll go over to Kev after I wrap things up here. Stay put though, people. I've still got an outgoing comedy clip to come. Something I really hope you'll enjoy. It's a debutante on the channel. The first time I've shared this YouTuber. And then we'll say our goodbyes, but we'll be seeing each other over in Kevin Logan's chat space, I'm certain. Right, do enjoy this. I really enjoy this. If you're perhaps a critique of James O'Brien's interviewing technique on LBC, then check out Tony Lapidus. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Lapidus. This is a great impersonation, really is. I've never come across him before, but do go and check him out. He's on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description of the video when we're done, so check him out.
Paul's calling from Sedgefield. Paul, what would you like to say, mate?
Hey James, I know this might not be that popular on your show, but I think Donald Trump's done quite a good job in 100 days.
Right. What do you think that he's done that's good, mate?
Well, he's deporting illegal immigrants, isn't he? So I know that some people might say, you know, that sounds like I'm a racist or I'm a fascist or something, but I'm not.
I mean, you are.
No, I'm not.
You kind of just said it on national radio, mate.
Oh, I don't remember saying that.
You said that it sounds like I am a racist or a fascist. So, ergo, if you take the more elliptical view of what you just said and remove the first part of the sentence, you literally just said that you were a fascist.
No, come on. I think you're just being silly now, James, to be honest with you.
I'm really not, mate. I know you might be utterly discombobulated in your sycophantic adulation of Donald Trump and no doubt the demagogues who have bullied and bitten their way to subverting the levers of American power, but you did still essentially and unequivocally declare yourself to be an unashamed fascist.
Oh, James, I think you know that I was not trying to say that.
Lord knows that I'm already late for the headlines, but I'll give you 15 seconds to tell me why I'm wrong, Paul.
James, I've come on this show to discuss a few things what I thought Donald Trump may have achieved so far. Not to say that I am a fascist. What?
You've done it again, mate.
Well, what have I done?
I don't see how you're not seeing it. Perhaps your narrow fascist mind can only process so much.
I'm not a fascist, James.
So you've called on live on radio to say, I know people are going to think I'm a fascist. I'm going to extol the virtues of a policy that could only ostensibly considered to be fascist. Deny that you're a fascist, only to admit again that you are in fact a rabid fascist.
I'm just confused now.
You're as confused as all my listeners. Simon Conway's here with your headlines.
How spot on was that? That was great. That was great. Tony Lapidus. 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 However it's pronounced, I really like your stuff, Tony. And go and check him out. Be a link in the description. Yeah, just the way. I just want to play the last little bit again.
Pause.
Because that was really good, the way he does his sort of sign-off thing when it's almost time for the news. Just go from there.
I think I'm a fascist. I'm going to extol the virtues of a policy that could only ostensibly considered to be fascist. Deny that you're a fascist, only to admit again that you are in fact a rabid fascist.
I'm just confused now.
You're as confused as all my listeners. Simon Conway's here with your headlines.
Very good. Very good. Okay, people, the hour grows late, so we'll get over to Kev. I'll be joining you there for a bit. Of course, I'm sure you're all going to stick around for the raid. Hit thumbs up when we go over to Kevin Logan, and do subscribe to his channel if you don't do so already. Strongly recommended for fellow socialists. Alright, so that will be it from me for tonight. Thank you very much to everybody for joining me. Thanks for all of your contributions in the chat as well. There's just one more formality to get through, and that is the result of the poll. So, in ascending order, still with 0 votes, is Socialist Independence and Grassroots. In third place, the Green Party, with Zach Polanski specifically. In second place, a Corbyn-led Left Party, but in first place, the Green Party, whoever leads. So that's your poll. Those are your results. You've been marvellous. I've been your host, Lefty. This has been the Brews at 10 on My Left Eye, and take care, everybody. We'll be seeing you soon. Good night. Free Palestine, power to the people.
Maybe you think you're in Malmo. You're not in Malmo, my friend. Okay?
You maybe think you're in Israel.
Give me that.
I'm in Israel.
You are in Palestine.
No, my friend.